Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher Marcus Porter.
And I'm just plain Chris Eliopoulos.
There's nothing plain about being Chris Eliopoulos. It's a multifaceted thing.
Vanilla.
Our vanilla guest, we're glad that you're back with us for this final day
Oh,
of the
no,
week.
you left vanilla ice cream in the corner. I've been eating it all night.
Oh, I was saving that. This week is more trouble than it's worth. Actually, that's not true. But listen, minute 105 begins with Nazi soldiers arriving behind Indy, and it ends with the lid of the Ark being removed to reveal... we're not there yet. We don't know.
Dang it.
Well, where do these soldiers come from behind Indy? Do they just run up the hill? Like, are they part of that original procession?
They're from Malta.
Oh, Zurich. He was calling them from Zurich.
Yeah. Zurich, you. I mean, look, I expose myself before my friends.
Yeah, but what about the show?
That was your first mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No, I mean,
true. Where did they come from? I mean,
Are
were
they part of that original soldier gaggle?
And
I assume so,
yeah,
right?
but if they were, Indy didn't see them run off?
Well, he's a little distracted. He had his he's peeking through that crazy viewfinder thing. Maybe I sort of buy that a couple of them could have peeled off and run up the
Well,
thing
I mean,
behind
Belloq's speech is that good.
him. Yeah, he was transfixed.
Yeah.
It's also possible they've only walked like 50 feet from the sub base because they were like, Tote was kind of slowing everybody down.
Right. He's sitting down every 5 steps.
Yeah, there's just a guy behind him like, hey, what's this guy up on the hill with a bazooka?
All right, I'm gonna be the violent one in this one. I've been in the past minute. Why didn't they just come up behind him and shoot him in the head?
Well, yeah. I have this.
Like, he's the bad guy. He's got a bazooka on them. Just take him out.
And he's Belloq's arch enemy. Like,
Or is
Belloq
he?
would have been behind that.
Or is he the bad guy?
Oh,
I don't think he's the bad guy, but Chris, I think you were right in the last minute that Belloq is also the good guy.
I don't think.
Yep.
Do you think
Belloq says you want to see it opened as much as I do. So
and he gives him a very nice spot to see it too. He's very very polite.
You wonder if it's maybe it's a bit of an olive branch, because again we have this moment. It's Belloq. Excuse me. It's Renee. It's Indiana.
Trying that on.
The Ark and the bazooka.
Yeah, I think it's like part olive branch, part rubbing his nose in it a little bit. There's got to be some of that. Like, look what I get to do. I get to open the Ark and wear a fancy outfit, and you have to stand there and watch from a distance.
See, I think the olive branch is a good symbol here, because Belloq knows what the score is with the Ark. Like, he knows what it does. He believes in it. He knows like the rules about what you can do and not do with it. Yet he touches it and he's willing to look inside of it. And he's wearing like the Jewish high priestly garments, which you had to be a member of the tribe of Levi to do. He's basically making himself the Jewish high priest, and he's wearing the whole outfit, and he does the incantation in Aramaic. And so my theory is that Belloq is actually Jewish, and this has all been a ploy to get the Nazis here, and he's just going to kill him.
That was beautiful, Pete.
That was beautiful.
All right, I'm putting my rocket launcher down.
You were about to blow up Pete, but now you're changing your mind.
Chris called this last minute.
And that is a costume change. Where did that come from? Is this the Oscars? Like, does he have to go through a costume change just to do this ceremony?
Yeah, did they have to wait for him to change?
Yeah, really. And where
I'll
did
be right back.
who did he steal that ram's head thing from?
And Belloq,
awesome.
you see that he's holding a scepter, right?
Yeah.
So
Marion
I
said
mean,
it's-
do you think Belloq stole that scepter from Indy? Look, I mean, do you think Indy is like, God damn it, Belloq, you're using my Canaanite scepter, and you got my Sumerian headdress on?
He takes everything.
He does.
Yeah.
You know what's
exactly.
amazing about this? I actually did, all joking aside, go to Sunday school for a while anyway. And there was this year, the year this movie came out, or maybe the year after, but there was some book we were reading from, not the Bible, but some book we were reading from, some like classroom thing, and it had a picture. They were talking, for some reason they were talking about the Ark, and they had a picture of a guy dressed exactly like this, like Belloq here. So is this?
he's
like
actually
just
wearing what the high priest would wear.
like
Like it's in the Bible. Like it's got the breastplate like with the 12 gems that are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Oh wow!
Like he's dressed as a Jewish high priest. Like he's literally doing the ceremony, and he knows like because he's got the Aramaic like the liturgy kind of memorized, so he knows what he's doing, and he knows he would have to be Jewish to do this, or else
Is
he's
that
going to
true
be
that you
dead.
would have to be Jewish to do it?
Yeah, you can't wear
I
the
guess
high
so,
priest
yeah.
outfit and touch
So
the
they
ark.
did have a bris.
Yeah.
He just did. That was the first thing he did before he put the thing on, just to make it totally official. He just converted.
And what he's saying in Aramaic is he's saying, I don't rely on men or angels. He's the true God, and the Torah is true.
Wow.
So I think that's a pretty big admission. I think he's a secret, like he's kind of a sleeper agent here, and he's out to kill as many Nazis as he can.
Or you could say that he's clearly not, and that's why he gets all joined later on. That he
No, you know when they say you get super excited and you're like, oh my god, I am so excited, I could just explode. Well, Belloq is literally that excited.
Somebody finally
that's
got
tragic. Hey, can
Well,
I Pete, I'm always happy to let you handle the deep research and everything. I just want credit that I actually looked up the Aramaic and everything, and I knew what he wrote, or that what he said too. Like I actually got online.
I'm in.
Took me like a minute. It was awesome.
And I read somewhere somebody said he doesn't say it very well.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he mispronounces and gets things wrong. But
Well, maybe everything would have been fine if he just said it right. It's like Army of Darkness.
But here's the thing too: is there a language that Belloq doesn't speak?
Nope.
Like German?
Well, see, I have a
speak,
thing.
though.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy this because look, you know how Belloq we just finished a minute where Belloq gave the greatest speech ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Yahweh really likes the speech that he gives
No, clearly
before
not.
opening the ark. You know, I
He's
just
got
have a
issues with it.
feeling that it might not go over well with the big man.
Well, okay, let's say you're right. What is Belloq's like? What's the end game here? Like, what is his plan? Because he obviously believes that it's got power, and so if he knows, like, these are the rules: you have to be Jewish, you have to be from the house of Levi, you have to do this, you have to do this. So what's his plan? Like knowing all that, all that. What is he plan when he opens it?
I would see. I gotta call Belloq out here. As much as I loved him in minute 104, minute 105. I mean, look. If you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, and then you think about Moses, and then you look back into the mirror and say, "I got this." You know what I mean? It's like the
ego.
hubris. Yeah, the hubris here is astounding. The Ark of the Covenant was given to Moses by God.
Yeah.
Then the Philistines stole it, and they weathered a plague of dung or frogs or whatever it was. Then Shishak had it, and his shit got wiped clean by the wrath of God. And now Renee has it.
I got this.
Yeah. It's like Moses and then and Renee Belloq.
He's in good company.
Yeah, I mean you don't just float to Malta with the Ark of the Covenant and find
Certainly
the closest sandlot. You put on a little costume jewelry and crack open the Ark of the Covenant.
He's playing.
Honestly, I don't care if he did live with the Javitos for 6 months.
So this is like
he's reckless here. He's reckless.
So
Yeah.
I've got
It's
a
like-
question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say that is this like Yahweh like voting him off the island? Like just like that was a pretty awful
all
speech.
the way off the island.
You know, America's Got Talent or something like it's Germany's Got Talent. No, you're off. Gone.
Yeah,
Well, I've got a question.
yeah.
Would Tote consider this overdressing for the right occasion?
I think Toad. We don't see it that much this minute, but later on, it's like Toad is like, "What am I doing here? What is going on? What is this?"
Yeah,
Get
I
me back
don't
to
know if this
Berlin.
whole black trench coat thing, trench coat thing, really paid off.
Yeah, that was a long walk through the desert.
Yeah.
For this.
But he's
wanna
got his
know,
style. He got his style. He's going to keep doing it. He's going to follow through on it.
He's sticking with it. He's like a teenager who's trying something and he knows it doesn't work, but he's like, "No, it's super cool. It's my new thing."
Is he emo?
Yeah, maybe. He's the first one.
Pete, getting back to your point, did he think that if you just, you put up a couple of nice spotlights or like, some big floodlights, and then you put on, a headdress that you stole from Indy and a scepter that you got from, the fourth floor of Marshall
Hot
College.
topic, yeah.
Yeah. And then you
With a Deadpool sticker.
Yeah, you mumble a little Aramaic, and then you open the ark. You see what happens. I mean, he's. I think I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to open the Ark of the Covenant, but I don't look in the mirror in the morning and go, Moses, me. Man.
Well, okay, wait. I actually have a great question.
Uh-huh.
In the Bible, etc., like in antiquity, was anybody ever supposed to open the ark?
No, they didn't open it.
So, okay, but all right. Okay, that's interesting. So they closed up the Ten Commandments in it, and then that was it. You're never supposed to open it again?
I think it was just in the temple, like sitting in the
Okay,
middle.
so like this ritual that he's doing isn't like the opening the ark ritual.
I don't think so.
So what does he think he's doing? Like, what is he?
From what I understand is the language is opening up, like, so when they're in the synagogue, you're opening up the Torah to read.
Oh, okay.
It's the same.
So he's just like I'll just say some Jewish stuff. I'll say some Jewish stuff that they do with the Jewish, on Sunday, and yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll play a little Hava Nagila.
Yeah. We'll rent
Well,
the
that's why
jazz
earlier
singer.
he had the going because he was getting that phlegm up.
Yeah.
He knew he was going to perform in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's like. If you know your history of the Ark, like more times than not, it winds up wiping out your city, or you get a plague of crickets and locusts.
Yeah. He's really picking and choosing his history and his lore and everything right now.
Yeah.
And those Nazis are actually touching the Ark, and
Yeah, totally.
they're about to get Azad.
Well, that's kind of what I asked, because I was asking, like, why, like, was that speech that he just did, was that supposed to be like, okay, now it's cool to touch and open the ark or something? But apparently not. They should be dead, and they will be soon.
Pete, wasn't that the
Don't
name of
ruin
the
it.
dude who got killed when he touched the Ark? Uzzah.
I think it was.
Uzzah. That's what those. They're all about to get Azad.
That's
Yeah.
where the sound Uzzah comes from. Uzzah?
Uzzah.
That's how everyone says that when they
It's like
die.
when you touch something that you're not supposed to.
Uzzah?
So that's a good lead-in, Jer, and I'm possibly going to ruin this movie for a lot of people. So if you don't want this movie ruined, and you don't want to hear something you'll never be able to unhear, like skip ahead about a minute. But when they open the ark, the sound effect that Ben Burt puts in here is the sound of him sliding the lid off of his porcelain toilet. And once you hear this once, you will never watch the scene without thinking of sliding the top of your toilet.
You can't unhear it.
Well, when you think about it, I've had horror shows like exactly like this coming out of my toilet.
You've almost died.
Yeah, I've said
Your
it's
head
beautiful,
exploded.
and then it goes straight to hell. From opening my toilet.
And you've prayed beforehand.
Oh, I prayed and sweat and melted, and yeah, I know exactly. That makes total sense. Ben Bird understands.
Pete, I think I didn't need to hear that.
You should have skipped
'Cause
it.
that was one of my notes. What an incredible sound that is.
That must be the sound of the two slabs of the Ten Commandments sliding together.
Yeah.
But now you can
Carried by
relive that sound
angels.
anytime you want to. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm going to go open the ark, guys. Give me 20 minutes.
Where's the newspaper?
I want to know. Okay, so the guy in minute whatever 101 is like the altar has been prepared in accordance with your radio instructions. So does this what did they do? What did they prepare? They didn't carve this out, did they? This crazy, Red Rocks stage thing. Like, what did they prepare exactly?
Red lights.
Yeah, I think they put here's a little dog. How's it going, buddy?
Okay.
There's a stray dog that just came up to me.
Jerry's on the streets of Boston right now, recording a podcast and chatting with a dog.
This must be your dog.
Want to be on a podcast?
Yeah, we're doing a podcast about Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Want to be on?
Yeah.
Bark once for one. Yes.
She's something like, "Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact."
Don't look at it. Don't look. That's what you say. When
You
you're
say
over
Raiders
in
of the
your
Lost
ark
Ark?
there, Tommy. Don't look at it.
Step away slowly. Back away.
He does give them a really nice seat, though. Like Indy and Marion have a really
Maybe
a
they
nice
set up
spot
a
to
pipe
watch
that
this.
they had to get roped up to.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go on record here because there's that shot at the beginning of this minute where they show the island, probably Malta, but they show the island and it's a peaceful, tranquil night, and yet there's a little thunder there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a little thunder, which that's never a good sign, and no one ever pays attention to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody gets
Thunder
undercover.
in this movie is bad.
That's true. They should have figured that out by now. There's a lot of things a lot of people should have figured out by now in this movie.
What's that little square bejeweled thing that's around Belloq's chest?
That's the breast piece that the high priest wears. It's got 12 jewels, one for each tribe of Israel.
It brings the museum characters to life at night.
Oh my God, I was just thinking that. That's hysterical.
I feel like, Pete, that was a rhetorical question. Man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't want a real
I was
answer.
just going like, hey, man, that thing's kind of space agey, isn't it?
Sorry, can you cut that, Tom?
Nope. I might cut it only because you explained it fully and beautifully like 3 minutes ago. And Jared wasn't listening. He was chatting with a dog on the streets of Boston.
It looks kind of space agey.
It does. It looks
Almost looks like you
like
get it like
Battlestar Galactica.
Forever 21 or something.
Wasn't it Spock's outfit from Star Trek 1?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Belloq's trying to get the Kolinar, but he fails.
Mm.
Look, I can watch this movie again and again and again and again, but I'm always on pins and needles right before they open the ark.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, I mean, if you made a movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark and then you had to open it, you had to open the ark, I don't know how I'd explain what happened after that.
You mean like as you're making, like, yeah. Like,
yeah, I
as
mean,
a
it's kind of like
filmmaker,
what
do
you're
you
going
do?
back to, like, what did Belloq expect to happen? And then if you had to write something that would happen, like even just as an exercise, imagining opening the Ark of the Covenant and what would you find inside?
Yeah.
See, I'd have Belloq pull out a little notebook and he'd say, okay, number 17, 2 pieces of broken tablet. Okay, we're going to call this shard B7. Call this thing shard X32.
Yeah, 17 millimeters by...
Little ruler
13.
next to it. Take a picture.
Yeah.
So why do they tie up Indy and Marion?
Why did they tie them up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's my question is like what like whatever the reason is for it now, like why I can't talk, Jesus Christ. Whatever the reason
No,
is,
Moses, sorry.
Like we're saying, that maybe they're tied up for Belloq's rubbing Indy's nose in it or something, or maybe he is sort of feeling kind of brother archaeologist about it, and like, okay, Indy, you get to see the awesome thing I'm doing. But assuming Belloq is not planning on getting killed in the next few minutes, what was he going to do with Indy after all this? Like, would he say, okay, you got to see the Ark open, now I'm going to shoot you in the gut? Or
he would have given him a really good speech.
Yeah.
And then he would have found an artistic way to kill him.
Yeah. He said, I'm going to count to 20.
Yeah.
You get a head start. Just run where I can't see you, and then I'll assume you don't make it across the island.
I think this was his... I'm not kidding. I think it was actually part of the negotiation. He's like, you want to see it opened, and you being my adversary that I actually have a modicum of respect for, we'll do that. You can watch it. You can watch it being opened, and you want to see it being opened as much as I do, and I'm going to stick to my word.
See, Belloq's the good guy. He's going to put him in jail afterward and say, and that's it. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
He does. He gives them the worst seat in the house.
No, I think he's the good guy, and he tied him up because he knows Indy gets a little bit grabby. It's like, okay, I don't want him touching the Ark because he's going to die, so I'm going to tie their hands up. And then afterwards, like, the Nazis are going to be dead, and he's going to walk over, and he does like the Lando Princess Leia thing where Marion thinks, oh man, this guy hates Indy, and then he walks up and they hug each other.
Aw.
Yeah, but who's Lobot?
Yeah, that's always my question. Who's Lobot?
Oh my God, Pete, we're getting ahead of it, but this is where you're going with it.
This is the road you're choosing.
Yeah. Well,
think about what you're doing.
You really want to go down here, huh? Okay.
That's our Pete.
Yeah, I'm off the cliff.
Yeah, you're crazier than a dog on the streets of Boston.
Yeah, I'm jealous that I don't get to go on the next few minutes with you guys because this is like the fun part. But
you're allowed to watch the minutes.
Gee,
I recommend it. Yeah, no, please do.
Well, I've never watched the movie before, so I want to know how it ends.
It's amazing. It's really crazy.
Does the credits roll out right after this?
Basically, yeah. They open it up. They see that there are actually 15 commandments. Mel Brooks was right all along. And then it's the end of the movie. And roll credits.
First rule of opening up the Ark. Don't open the Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like Chekhov's Ark. Like we've seen it the whole movie, so it's got to go off.
Yeah. And then Porkins shows up with the army, U.S. Army, and arrests everybody. It's awesome.
And the Nazis seem very interested in what's in there too. They want to check it out.
Oh yeah,
and they're
documenting everything.
And they're like the young guys are all kind of like creeping forward to get a look.
God, I would love to see the grainy black and white like newsreel footage that they're filming of what happens. That'd be incredible.
It does echo the picture they show at the beginning of the movie, right? Even the way they're set up and I know coming up in the future with the lightning bolts, but it looks very similar in
oh my God. Setup. I never really thought of that. That's true. The picture in the Bible, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Well, so they put the tablets into the Ark, and then they shut it, and then they put the Ark in a tabernacle or in the temple of Solomon, and then they kept it there unless they wanted to go whip some ass, and then they took it out, and they didn't open it. They just carried the Ark before them, and it would smite their enemies, and then they put it back in the temple.
Yeah.
Have a shot of tequila and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one ever opened it or peeked inside or shuffled up the commandments or something.
Right. There had to be a kid that just snuck by and kind of took a look, right?
Yeah.
No?
On a dare.
Yeah. Well, he's dead.
Come on. Every parent who says don't open that Ark, there's a kid that's going to go, sure.
That's the
and then you hear a toilet bowl going and you go, oh, the kid's on the toilet again. We're all dead.
It's beautiful.
And
then you get Azad.
Yeah, 100%.
Ishmael lost his head again. All right.
Well, listen.
Are we done?
I feel terrible. I feel bad that you don't get to see what happens when the Ark gets opened.
I'll have to live through you guys vicariously.
Okay, we'll describe it in great detail.
Sweet.
But thank you so much for joining us this week. This has been awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me. I had a ball.
So did we.
Yeah.
Do you happen to be we never asked what your history with Raiders of the Lost Ark is.
It came out, when was it?
81.
81. I was, I think I was just a freshman in high school. So yes, I am old. I do remember, and it's funny because I grew up on Spielberg. I grew up on Lucas. I have the weirdest, for some stupid reason, right? You go to Star Wars, it opens like with this big giant ship, and you realize you can't miss the first minute of a movie. For some reason, we were running late. I was going with a friend of mine to see the movie. We were running late, and I said to him, "Doesn't really matter. Not much happens in the beginning of a movie anyway." And we walked in, and the lead character is about to get crushed by a boulder.
What has been going on?
But if you remember back in those days, you could stay. I don't know if you do remember, but you could stay through the theater. Like, so if it ran through, you could just stay. So his mother came by, and we just said, we're going to stay. And we watched it from the beginning again. So I actually sat through it.
Awesome.
Twice.
Wow.
Yeah. It was one of those. I mean, look, I was a nerd who had like rarely friends and then nothing to do. So it was a Saturday afternoon or whatever day it was. I guess Saturday afternoon. And we watched the movie twice. So it was a uplifting experience, and I got to say I probably watched it about 300 times since.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's on the top 10 of my movie list. It's probably one or two.
And how do you feel about the sequels?
I didn't like the second one as much, but I've actually come to love it more afterward.
Okay.
The Temple of Doom was sort of like, this is not what I was expecting in the last one, to carry over. But I loved it. I love it now. I think it's the best of the three soundtracks.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
I love the march.
Strong words.
Yeah, I love the. I do love the first movies. The Well of Souls music. I mean, I think that's one of the best songs you'll ever listen to on an album. And I did love the third one. I don't think there was any ones after that, so I think we're good there.
Yep, all three. You just named them all. Good job. Sorry, everybody who likes the fourth one. It's okay.
No, it's okay to like
We're all
it.
friends here.
I liked the idea of what they were going for in that last one. I kind of got what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It just it didn't have a satisfying conclusion. I think the Mutt character was a little not needed and kind of stupid.
We're going to have a lot to talk about in a few years.
Yeah, well, if you have me back, I'd love to talk about it.
Certainly.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So, I love these movies. Like I said, I'm addicted. I think these movies. Well, I want to say there's 3 series that I've done this with, and it's Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Back to the Future. I've pretty much bought every kind of version of it that has come out, videotapes, laser discs. I still have the laser discs in my garage with the player, just in case I ever want to watch them.
Just in case it's a nuclear war.
Yep, I can put them in a refrigerator and we're set. And then I've got the DVDs and then the Blu-rays and then I bought them all on digital through iTunes. So I've got I watch every back behind the scenes thing that's on there. Anytime I can find something, I'm into it. So, and I sit at home alone all the time, so I need that stuff.
I admire that greatly. I wish I was that guy. I wish well, for a long time that was true of all the Star Wars movies. I had every single home video version of Star Wars for a while. Mm-hmm. But it ended. Anyway, I don't want to get sad.
Don't cry. Don't cry. It's okay.
You and your collection. How about that?
All right. Thanks.
Pete, where can people find us to get us sad about other aspects of our geek lives?
Yeah, you can do that to us just about anywhere. But if you want to find out more about our show, come to IndianaJonesMinute.com or check us out on Facebook, Indiana Jones Minute. Or we have a special page, Indiana Jones Minute and the Listener's Crusade, where we discuss pieces of the show in very great detail.
Oh my God, we do. And Jer, where can people go if they want to chat with a dog on the streets of Boston?
Oh, they can go to the Best Western that's somewhere in Quincy. And
Right.
yeah, quesadilla ain't that bad.
Okay. Sounds good. So
Yeah.
please enjoy a quesadilla with a dog. Visit us online. Visit Chris online. And please come back next week for minute 106 of Raiders of the Lost Ark here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Jones!
We named the dog Indiana.
Oh, yeah, Jared, you named that dog Indiana?
I did. Yeah, I did.